Greetings Spacefarers, I'm Michael. We have some news in the world of science fiction gaming. With Gamescom 2025 taking place this week, the developers of the Expanse Osiris Reborn have decided to treat us to a small showcase, a minute and 35-second demonstration of how some of the environments and locations will look in-game. And I have to say it, they do look fantastic. Now, as I often like to disclaimer, I am not an official gaming critic, nor do I know much about the technical workings of game development, but what I lack in media literacy I make up for in unfiltered enthusiasm, especially when it relates to some of my favourite franchises such as The Expanse. With that in mind, there will be a few minor spoilers to the book and show, so click away now if you haven't read or seen it. Anyways, the trailer is pretty much what it advertises, a brief yet detailed tour of some of the environments we will come across in game. From what I could tell, we saw primarily 3 specific locations: Ceres, Ganymede, and an undisclosed spin station of some kind. The shots on Ceres were clearly in the lower levels somewhere, similar to the Medina district we see in the show. This is where Miller investigates the tampering with the water systems and generally where any interactions with Anderson doors take place. I'm really hoping that Ceres fills the role of a central hub like the Citadel from Mass Effect, and not just because they share a lot of similarities, but because this trailer does an excellent job of making me feel like this is the kind of place I want to hang out. I'm sure there will be plenty of opportunities for missions on Ceres, especially for a group of mercenaries, but how awesome would it be to be able to visit these shops to fill up on provisions, upgrades, and possibly grab a drink? I also noticed a couple of references. There's a sign for Star Helix, who are the private security firm charged with providing police services to the station, and then there's also plenty of those drones we see flying about in the show. As for Ganymede, it is one of the more striking locations we see in this trailer, which is great for a multitude of reasons, but not least of all because when we're first introduced to it in the show, it is immediately wrecked by a war breaking out between Earth and Mars, so it's nice that we'll get to see it in all its glory before it falls into decline. The dialogue in the trailer even foreshadows those events.
And some cranky Martian Marines itching for a fight with their UNN counterparts.
Outside of the plot, I'm actually eager to see how Ganymede operates when it's functional. In-universe, it's one of the main providers of food to the entire belt, so as a lore enthusiast, I am really excited to see it in action. The spin station we see at the beginning of the trailer doesn't appear to have a name, but it is definitely tied to the Pinkwater security firm, who the player character and their companions will be working for. So either this location will serve as a home base, or even its own hub, or possibly where the game's tutorial will take place. It kind of looks like Tycho Station from the show. It shares a lot of visual similarities. Tycho itself is also a spin station. The music in the trailer, I couldn't tell if it was original or if it was taken from the show, which is a good thing because if it isn't Clinton Shorter's original score, it is nice to know that it will be very similar. In my opinion, nothing helps a cross-medium immersion quite like similar if not the exact same music. Then lastly, the trailer is narrated by a conversation between the player character and their sibling. It appears to be some banter between the two as one of them is performing a zero-G spacewalk, something that we see happen in the show often. Engaging people in conversation whilst working in the vacuum of space is seen as an important way of keeping someone from losing their mind whilst performing such a strenuous task. In this specific conversation, they are both daydreaming about what they plan to do when they go on shore leave, with each part of the dialogue corresponding to the location being showcased on screen. In the brief time this trailer has been released, this is the only area where I have seen some criticism, as quite admittedly the dialogue is a little clunky. But I personally will not judge it at this point, as the game is still in development and, as I just mentioned, one of the people talking is performing a spacewalk at the same time. I don't know, it just seems like complaining for the sake of complaining. There's no news on when the game is expected to release, nor is there much detail about any other specifics than we already know, besides a small tease at the end, as the two siblings ominously settle on choosing Eros as their destination. Which is a bit weird, as Eros is kind of a dump. But despite that small plot tease, this trailer is what it advertises, an in-game environment showcase, and that it does perfectly. Everything looks gorgeous and amazingly detailed, and other than sharing some uncanny resemblance to Star Citizen, it is very clearly the Expanse we know from the TV show, and that alone is an exciting confirmation. So what do you think? Are you as excited for this as I am? Are there any details I missed? I'm sure there's quite a few. Let me know in the comment section. It'll give us all something to talk about while we pass the time. In the meantime, if you liked my analysis and breakdown of this trailer, then go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the channel. My bread and butter is often Mass Effect related, but I do talk about other science fiction and fantasy related media from time to time. You can check out some of that by clicking right here. Keeler Salai, my friends, and until next time.
I should go.